thanks for stopping by. This is Amy, and today I'm going to be painting a flower pattern on a Catalina glass. You can use this if you want to serve drinks out of it, or maybe even as a cute ice cream glass. Maybe make some, oh, I don't know, if you've ever had a brown cow, which what we call brown cow is Coke with vanilla ice cream in it, you know, like a float. I'm going to be using folk art enamels. This color is magenta. I mixed up a color. It's kind of a little bit dark, a little bit darker than a lavender, but I used this perfect purple with my favorite white wicker, or wicker white, sorry, said it backwards. And then the forest moss, one of my favorite greens, along with Thicket, and I'll use those for my leaves. Using yellow ochre along with the sunflower and coffee bean for my brown. I need to get some burnt sienna. That's actually my favorite brown. Let me see here. I think those are all the colors. I'm going to be using a 12-inch one-stroke brush, a Filbert, which is probably an, well, it is actually an 8, not probably, it is, and then a Scruffy Brush, and that will be used to paint the center. So let's get started, and just want to let you know that the technique that I'm using is a little bit different. Normally I will have a double loaded brush, more like the one stroke kind of technique, but my own technique kind of thrown in there. And today I'm actually going to do something a little different. So this is the first time I've tried it on glass. So if it doesn't work out, I'm sorry, but that was my intention, was to give it a shot and see how it works. So I'm going to start basically pushing my brush down and then turning it. It's going to be kind of like a daisy, or like my interpretation of a daisy, which is not one of my easier flowers to paint for some reason. Not really sure why that is. And hopefully you can see it. I'm still trying to master my video skills. And actually this is my second take on this video, because when I went to do the first round, my camera started beeping at me, so I knew there was something wrong, and I actually ended up having to clear my SD card. Apparently it was too full. So here I am again. I did clean my glass. Actually, you can see a little bit of a water drop on the inside. Hopefully that doesn't venture on the outside. You can, you know, wash your glassware before you use it, or not use it, paint on it, or use denatured rubbing alcohol to clean it. And I would say make sure that you're using a good paper towel, one that's not going to give you a lot of dust or whatnot. Some of them are better than others, believe it or not. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is come in here and add some purple into my petals. And again, this is just something new that I'm trying to see how it works, because I've been watching so many different videos on people and how they're painting flowers and all. The only thing I was concerned is that since this is such a slippery surface, they would pull too much of the base color off, leaving it not as opaque, because I really do like my glass paintings to be more opaque looking. Again, I could have double loaded my brush and did this. I'm just trying, this is a little bit slightly different technique. I mean, because there's more than one way to paint a flower, more than one way to do probably most everything in life. Now what you could do is just paint the flower one color, go back over once it dries, you know, give it an hour or so. But for the sake of doing the videos, I like to just keep moving with it as much as possible If it's not possible, then I will, you know, pause and let it dry a little bit if I have the time. Now doing this next layer, I could pull it to the side a little bit or just go back over the top of it. Again, this is just something a little bit different that I'm trying. It's not rocket science by any means. And I like to try to mention too, when you're baking glassware, if you haven't watched any of my other videos, it's really very important to place your glass inside a cold oven, then add the glassware. Start your temperature, you know, whatever you want the glassware to be baked at, and then outside the wind a little bit there. Then add your preheat time to your bake time. So like for instance, my oven, it takes about 20 minutes. The oven I bake my glassware in takes about 20 minutes or so to heat up, and so you have to add that to the bake time. Follow the manufacturer's instructions. A lot of times I have people ask me, well, you know, how do you bake this or whatnot? It really depends on what paint you're using. Not everybody uses the same paint, and they do come with instructions on your paint. Now, you know, you might find, you might try some different things as you're getting more, I don't know, more professional at the painting part of it. And so you might find yourself, you know, shortening the time or just doing something, you know, a little bit different with kind of varying from what they suggest. And that's fine too. I mean, that's all good. But just know that when you're trying that, you know, if you're varying from it, there could be consequences to not following their instructions. So do keep that in mind. And like with any glass that I paint, I just kind of go around and then just keep adding the flower design. A lot of times I won't do another full open bloom. I'll do just more like a bud per se. And I'm just kind of randomly doing these. I'm not actually really paying too much attention as to which one I did first or second or third as far as going back over the petals. I think it's, you know, just a little bit different look than if you're double loading. Just kind of fun flower. And one thing about glass painting, and this is one thing I used to mention all the time, is, you know what? If you get it done and you don't like it, just wash it off. That's all you have to do. Just wash the design off and start over. Pretty easy. You know, you could even do this if you're trying to figure out like the direction the sun would be hitting your glassware. You know, as far as the flower, if you want to do shading, that type of thing, you could actually do these colors based on that direction if you want. Not necessary, but you could. And then I'm just kind of going back over them a little bit here. I think it gives it kind of an interesting look. Let me know in the comments if you like it. If not, you know, that's fine. Like I said, this is just a kind of a trial thing I'm doing. See how it works out. I mean, and you could keep going. It's just like anybody I'm seeing painting online. A lot of times they do a lot of different layers before they are done. And I'm just going to keep going around the glass and doing just the open flower for the purpose of the video. Just a real simple stroke. And on this part I am using the the Filbert Brush. That's a nice brush. I mean, it's a nice, gives like a nice design. One thing with brushes, I mean, you can find different ways to use the brush, coming with a different end result, which is nice too. Okay, so these are pretty simple. What a fun party to have. You know, if you got friends that want to get together. I know I have a lot of crafty friends, and we used to get together and do mosaics all the time, once a week. And then my friend recently stated she wanted to try to get that back together again, but just more or less just coming and hanging out and doing some crafts. My problem is I always have to figure out, you know, is there a way to sell whatever I'm doing? I don't know why I always think that. You know, even with this flyer, you could just stop with the purple or vary them. You know, they don't all have to look the same. But again, for the purpose of the video, I'm just kind of making them all look the same. And I think this too will also make them more opaque looking. And the thing of it is, with this type of paint, the more, or I should say, the thicker the paint is applied, the more durable it will make it, if that makes sense. I mean, you could get really loose with this style of painting. I'm going to just come back over with some of the pink. And the more you did it, I'm sure you get like a different flow, just like anything you do. The more you do it, the better you become at it. And then, you know, you might end up doing it a little bit differently than when you initially started. Or you get better at it. Whatever the case may be. And that's okay. Don't be afraid to try. That's my main thing, is don't be afraid to try new things. Maybe intermix somebody else's painting style with yours. Alright, so that's what I have so far. And then I think what I'm going to do next is come back in and do the centers. And they're going to be really easy, just using the Scruffy Brush. And this one might be a little overkill as far as the size of it goes. But that's okay. I wanted the center just kind of be busy and big. You know, you can just tap it on, kind of turn it. I like that look. I hope I'm getting this in the screen here. I need to get a different video camera. I know some people video with several different cameras at the same time. Like I said, it's just very easy, fun pattern. If you need it a little bit darker, just go back in, as you've seen me do many times. Just go back in and add some more color. And I think those are our cute centers. Alright, now my next thing is going to just be add some long leaves to these, just to kind of, you know, kind of fill the glass space in. And by that, it's just, you know, basic, it's just a straight long leaf. And that one is a little bit more transparent than I'd like to see it. So I'm just gonna work on that for a minute. Again, if you're concerned about the light, the way it would be hitting, you know, you can flip this up if you think that the The lighter part of the leaf should be on top. Sorry, I'm getting off camera here. I promise someday I will have this mastered. I think everybody gets better the more they do it, but I don't know. I don't think I've gotten worse. That's not good, right? Alright, another thing to keep in mind too is when you're done baking your glass, make sure that you leave it in the oven until it has cooled down. And reason being is what causes glass to break is the quick change in temperature. You know, and some people will ask, you know, about different types of glassware. I am not really sure as far as using really good glassware to do painting on. I think, real honestly, you have better success with this if you just either use, you know, something that's cheap, or I like Libby glass, which I'm probably partial to, for one thing, that they make it in Ohio, which is where I'm from, where I currently live. And so I'm supporting a state business, you know, in my home state. I know that they make the products here in the United States. No offense to anyone else, but, you know, we do like to support, you know, our own companies here. It's been kind of an issue over the years. But I've never had any problem with their glassware. And I did have a problem with not what painting it, but I don't know if it's how my cousin washed them. You know, maybe that was more the problem, because I think they were really good glass. And you have to keep in mind when you're dealing with, you know, you really hand painted glassware, you've got to realize that you need to handle it like fine china. And maybe if you've never had fine china, you don't know what that means, but it's basically handled with care. You know, the better you treat it and take care of it, don't use harsh cleansers or cleansing pads. You know, you just want to be careful. Just, you know, lightly suds them up and put them in the, you know, dry them off and put them back in the cupboard, or hang them up, whatever you do with your wine glasses if you have a display. Now I'll tell you, if you treat them well, they'll be there for a while. I mean, you'll be able to use them. And if you're not good to them, sometimes they'll last a while. The main thing is, though, if you are going to use them and then put them in the dishwasher, never place them on the bottom rack. Always go to the top. Reason being, this paint will melt off. I guarantee you that. Guarantee it. No bars held. It will come off. Alright, so basically I'm just going to do, you know, a few petals just like I did. I could keep going and going and going. As I've mentioned in past videos, I'm really into leaves for whatever reason. My one last thing I might want to, you might want to do just to give your glassware a little bit more interest is, you know, whatever kind of tool that you like to make dots with, you know, grab that and maybe put some dots on it. Around the center, maybe coming out even to the petals a little bit. I'm using a pencil right now, which apparently isn't working very well, but you get the gist. I'm not the best dot maker in town. But I honestly think I really like how the petals turned out. if you don't, that's fine. Everybody has their likes and interests. We don't all have to like the same things. If you want to leave the dots off, leave the dots off. If you want to have some fun and maybe add some detail into the petals, you know, with dots or lines or whatnot, you can do that as well. And like I said, with this, I'm just going to add, you know, just some dots, just random, not a ton. But see, you know, that kind of gives it some interest, and just being, instead of just being plain. But if you like them plain, then that's great too. Because then I'm pretty much, whatever floats your boat, do it. I truly do not believe that we all have to like the same things. You know, you could even do something around the base here, or, you know, do more flowers, do small flowers, do some petals or whatever. But I think that's kind of cute, just very simple, almost kind of tropical. Yeah, it looks fun. Alright, well, I am going to end the video for now. I appreciate you stopping by. I hope you'll like what you see. If you have any questions, please, I'd love to have some more comments underneath the video. Make sure that if you like this video, you give it a big thumbs up. You hit the bell so you got notifications whenever I place a video online. And also share. Please share the videos, and excuse me, my dog is just coughing in the background. I apologize for that. She's with me wherever I go, and so that's all I'm going to say about that. But anyhow, have a good evening. Thanks again for stopping by, and until the next video, I'll see you then.